What's up, guys? It's probably been a while since you've seen me upload on this channel. And I decided I have nothing to do tonight. It's a Wednesday night and I'm very sleep deprived, but I don't want to sleep because it's 7 p.m. So I thought I'd record this video. I'm using a pretty shitty setup because the charger for my digital camera broke. So I can't really record like nice footage. So here I am with my shitty MacBook webcam and all that. It's been a nice summer. I think that it's almost August. I went into summer, bored as hell, not really feeling anything. I've started to, do a couple of new things, and it's been better. Like, life is good. Life is good. Yeah. This summer I've been trying to take more film photos. So the film camera I'm using is my dad's Minolta TC1. It's a point and shoot with a 28mm lens. I think it's pretty great for beginners like me. It makes it easy to, just understand the functions and everything. All of you would know that I'm pretty into taking pictures, but that would usually be on my phone or on a digital camera, just as, a way to remember, memories. But film photography is kind of different. You see a lot of people trying to pick up film photography because oh, look at this picture, it has like this nice green tint and like some grain and some motion blur. Oh my god, so cool. But the reason I wanted to pick up film photos is because it would help me learn how to be more intentional with my pictures. Film costs pretty significant amounts of money to buy, so it's very important that you don't waste any pictures when you're shooting on a new roll. Because of that, it's helped me look at things in a different perspective. Once again, it's all about looking at things from a different perspective. That's what we do on this channel. But like taking a walk downstairs with your phone out, you can just take a picture whenever the fuck you want. But getting a film camera, instead of like going out and thinking, oh, this would make a good picture, you have to think this would make a good film picture, if that makes sense. I shot a couple rolls of film, so I think I just wanted to go through, what I've learned, the technical stuff. Not that technical. I'm still pretty like amateurish to this kind of shit. But I do feel like I've made enough progress to share it with you guys. So yeah, welcome to my film photography progress documentation. I don't know what to word this. So I've been just shooting with Kodak Gold. It's the cheapest film stock I can get. That has really nice warm colors, so I'm just going for that first. My first roll of film is very embarrassing. Out of the 36 pictures I could take on that roll of film, I'd say only 15 of them came out properly. The other 21 were absolutely awful. The lighting was absolute ass. I just did not know what I was doing. Even the pictures that came out okay, I feel like just looking back at them now, I could have done a much better job at choosing my exposure settings, etc., etc. So yeah, this roll of film was all about learning about my exposure settings in photography in general, especially applying to film photography. There's three main concepts that everyone has to know, and that's ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, which I really didn't understand. I would watch a couple of YouTube videos about it, and I'd be like, okay, this is a number, and it like makes it go small or big. That was pretty much the extent of my understanding, and I thought that when it was too dark, I would simply crank up the exposure of my camera, and it would solve all the problems in the world. That wasn't the case. Because as you can see, when I tried to overexpose my camera in environments that barely had any light, I don't know what I was thinking. This is how they came out, as literal just blank gray images, which probably is really embarrassing. I probably got laughed at by the dude scanning my film. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. So this like helped me realize, okay, maybe night photography isn't really right, and that's where I started like looking into shutter speed, ISO, and aperture like properly. So yeah, this roll of film was all about, you know, testing my settings, seeing when and when not I should use flash, which I really didn't do that properly. I went out at around 7 to 8 p.m. thinking a normal roll of 200 ISO film would be able to capture like the sunset. It turned out absolutely awful. On the Minolta TC1, there's actually like an indicator that shows the shutter speed at like different levels of light that you do, and I did not know how to read that. I thought that having my shutter speed at an 8 would be proper. Turns out it wasn't, especially as someone like me who has pretty bad like shaky hands. Turned out awful. As you can see from this picture, the leaves are all distorted and fucking blurry. I don't even know what's going on in this picture. I mean, it looks pretty cool, but like I have no idea what's going on. And yeah, and then we move on to the second stage, which is using flash. But flash wasn't like enough light in my head, so I proceeded to turn up the exposure compensation. And this is how it came out, which it looks pretty fucking awful, I have to say. It's pretty embarrassing stuff. Second roll of film, I learned enough about aperture to take proper pictures, and now it was more about like the composition. I wasn't completely familiar with all like the concepts about lighting and everything, but I started to pay more attention to it. I started to understand that if I wanted to take like a good still photo with shaky hands like mine, the shutter speed had to be at least like between 125 and 30. So yeah, I guess I learned how to pick the shutter speed a bit more properly, but I still didn't really know what was going on. I would scuff pictures still because I completely forgot about things like backlight. If that's what you call it in English, like 反光, I really don't know what you call it in English. This was like the first roll of film where I tried to take pictures of people, which went miserably. I had no idea how like focus worked. I had no idea what aperture I was supposed to do in order to take pictures of my subjects. And because of that, a lot of these pictures came out blurry. Even the ones that came out nice, you could probably tell I didn't know what was going on. It's pretty embarrassing. Because I was like, oh, let me take a nice picture of you guys, and then I get the film developed and it looks like ass. But yeah, that's where I realized, okay, maybe I have to learn about focus, autofocus, especially on this camera, which is a pretty cool function, the autofocus. I never really knew that was a thing until I found out I fucked these pictures up of my friends. So yeah. Another thing I learned or tried to pay attention to was composition, because I realized in my first roll of film that a lot of the pictures I took were some iPhone ass fucking pictures. Like, you would not be able to recognize that this was taken on an expensive film camera, because I could simply just snap a picture on my phone with the same field of view and it would come out the same. So I really like tried to pay more attention to that in regards to like the weather, the lighting, and the composition. Yeah, I started taking pictures, you know, raising my hands and like kneeling down. I think that helped a little. I managed to produce a couple cool pictures, which you'll see here. Nothing that's too crazy or nothing that I'm like super duper happy with. And then my film camera broke, so I had to ship it out to Taiwan to get it fixed, which took about 2 or 3 weeks. So I had absolutely nothing to do. And this was the time where I was like, okay, I should get ready for when it comes back. I should watch a couple of videos and educate myself on how to actually take good fucking photographs. Because usually I would just like go by instinct. I would just go down and see like, oh, this is a nice scene. Let me just take a picture of it. But I never really thought, okay, let me take an actual nice picture of it. You know what I mean? You know, just paying attention to things like lighting, composition, blah, blah, blah. So I think that I made the biggest improvement in this roll of film, because I actually started to think about how things were spaced out, you know, the contrast of the people or the subjects in my pictures with the background or the light. And I also genuinely paid attention to my exposure settings. Like, I managed to understand a bit better how I should expose my pictures in different environments, or which direction I should be facing when I'm photographing and a certain subject. So yeah, I think I took a lot of my favorite pictures on this roll of film, which is cool. Like you can see that like I definitely made some improvements. Like if you have a comparison of my old pictures, like one of my first few pictures and one of my favorites that I took recently, it's pretty fucking obvious that there's a difference. You know, I've paid attention to the composition, especially on the viewfinder, because it comes out kind of different since the lens it is 28 millimeter. It does come out kind of different, but you know, I'm getting better at, you know, deciding, you know, what height I should take pictures at, what angle, what direction, or what to focus my subjects on, or how to focus my subjects. I think these are like my key takeaways, and I do think this is helping me like work on really my instinct. And then we have my fourth roll of film where now that I know what like autofocus does, tried taking a couple portraits. It's kind of embarrassing. I went out with my friend and she managed to take better portraits of me than I did of her, which is kind of fucked up. But you know, it's a learning experience. Like I think even like just for portraits, I've been just taking them like straight eye level kind of portraits, and I'm trying to work on that right now. Learning how to compose your portraits, especially on a 28 millimeter lens, is pretty fucking difficult. But at least, you know, I get the exposure right, I get the autofocus right. So, you know, the portraits come out okay, I think. They come out a lot better. They come out a lot better than what they used to look like. So yeah, I've been focusing on taking pictures of like actual subjects rather than just scenery. Because if I'm being real, like the places I go in Hong Kong are pretty fucking limited, so there isn't really that much scenery that I can actually take with 36 pictures of film available. Because of that, I've been trying to photograph my friends more in different places. It's embarrassing. It's very weird for someone who never like even used a camera half a year ago to be like pointing at my friends and telling them, oh, stand under this, let's see if that makes a good picture. But that's what we're working on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video recorded on my shitty MacBook webcam. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully when my digital camera actually starts working again, I can make some high quality vlogs before I start university. But yeah, I guess, you know, I never say this, but like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this fucking video. Goodbye.